Hey, I'm glad you're here. Today I wanted to share with you about how healing works and just what I'm noticing just from my own journey and from watching other people go through the healing journey of sacred mud withdrawal. So if you've been wondering like how am I ever going to get better? Am I ever going to enjoy my life again? Am I ever going to just be able to focus and think clearly and do things normally? Please stay tuned because I would love to share with you about that healing process and the hope. There's so much hope that there is for you in this video. If you are interested in having support one-on-one, I'm offering coaching, and you can find the link to that in this video, in the video description. And I'm also offering group support. So if you're interested in joining on a group call to get to know others and be supported in a group setting as you're going through your healing journey, please check that out. We would love to be able to walk with you towards your healing. And I just wanted to share just in more detail with you about what it looks like to go from being completely incapacitated to actually enjoying life again. Because I know when you're in that place where it's just so dark and the symptoms are so severe, it seems like you cannot imagine ever being better or enjoying normal life again. It seems so far, and especially as it goes on and on, it just feels like high pie in the sky. Like, how could it ever be true that I will then go back to work and drive normally to the store, or any of those normal parts of your ordinary life, or enjoy the holidays, or enjoy going on a vacation with my family. But the truth is that those things do happen. It does happen. Healing does happen, and it's very, very much in process. So even though you feel like it's not happening, the healing is happening. And at some point, you're going to realize it, and you're going to be experiencing the joy of that healing. So what does that look like with the back and forth, and how can you help it along? Like, is there anything you can do to promote that healing and to make it more possible or sooner? So I'm going to cover that. So first of all, I'll list a couple of like symptoms you might be experiencing that feel like they are interrupting life. If you're having like anhedonia, terror, panic attacks, severe anxiety symptoms. You might be having like chills and sweats and physical symptoms of withdrawal. You might have horrible looping thoughts, feelings of doom, gloom, disaster. You might not be able to focus or read. You might not even be able to watch TV or go anywhere. For a time, I was housebound. Maybe you're housebound, maybe you're bedbound. Maybe you're unable to get any work done or write any emails. Maybe even going to the grocery store is too much, or even planning out what groceries you're going to get. So these things, they feel pretty severe and life-dominating, life-altering, like losses and changes to your ability to function. So I know that it's really hard and it can be really dark, but so what happens is we're going to call all of those symptoms our withdrawal. So what you might be tempted to think in this is that this is the new me, but it's not. It's a symptom. Those are symptoms, and it's withdrawal symptoms. So if you've come off a psych med and you're having suddenly all of these changes over your body and your brain and your abilities, it is psych med withdrawal. It is not you. It is not the new you. It is an injury to your body. And so the body is amazing, the human body. And the body naturally heals. So it's headed towards a trajectory of healing naturally on its own. And so just if all you're doing is eating chicken nuggets and watching TV all day, your body is still headed towards healing. So it is just something that's naturally happening, that your body is getting you back to normal. So all of the bodily systems that need to regrow and recalibrate in your brain, that is happening on a regular basis. And that's part of why the symptoms are there, is because of the sudden change of not having the drug. And your body is saying, oh my gosh, we've got to figure out how to regulate. We've got to produce dopamine. We've got to produce serotonin. We've got to grow these new nerve endings to be able to produce all of those chemicals. And so your body is doing that work. So that's my encouragement to you. And then on an experiential level, what you might be experiencing is just all of the negative symptoms. So what happens is the process is, and it does vary for people, but the process is that you have typically waves and windows. So maybe at first it's like constant symptoms. And then maybe at the end of the day, you get a 5-minute window where you're like, I feel a little bit less bad. I think I'm going to go sit on the porch or something like that, and you're like, you feel like you get a little, like a whiff of relief. Okay. So that's how it can be at the beginning of your recovery. And then it goes from that to, you got this constant torment to, okay, I got a few breaks. I got a one day where I got a break this week, or I had a few hours where I got a break from those negative feelings. I didn't feel awesome, but I didn't feel terrified, And so then the breaks start, and some people call those like a dirty window. So you start getting breaks from the extreme negativity. And that's a good sign. That's a good sign of your healing. Okay. And then it goes from, the intense negativity and the dirty window to like maybe your symptoms become slightly less intense. Okay. And then you're able to do a few things. You might be feeling some negativity, but you're able to do a few things. You start being able to go to the grocery store, or you start being able to take a walk and not panic walking outside. So you start being able to do things and add some things into your life. And then, but you still are having symptoms as a baseline. And then you have your windows soon, they start getting clearer, where it's not only do you feel relief from symptoms, but you kind of felt positive. And maybe you went out and did something and had a nice time. Like maybe you even like got together with a friend and chatted with them, or that's just an example, but like you emailed your boss and wanted to stop in and see what it was like at work. But you start having clearer windows where you really start to feel like, oh my gosh, I was like normal for like a half a day or a day. It was like I was myself. Okay, so then that's the progression. And then it goes from that to those windows getting cleaner and clearer. And then those, like that baseline wave, becoming less and less intense. And then that intensity goes down. And soon those windows of being able to just feel like your normal self get longer and longer. And so then your baseline soon switches. So then you have more of that window time in your life, and then the wave becomes the less typical. So then it starts to switch to that. Okay. And then after that, your waves get really, really small and they get less intense. Your windows get longer and they get more clear. Like you start actually really enjoying yourself, and you start noticing, you have spontaneous ideas of things you want to do. You start feeling inspired and you're like, I really want to make chicken parmesan. I'm going to do it, or something. The light starts going on. And then soon that wave, that little bit of wave, it just disappears. Okay. So that's the progression. I know some of you are like, when do I know it's over? But your baseline changes. So it becomes the exception, and you get more and more confidence in that healed self being your real self and being the real you. And I even remember my last wave, I was in bed for it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm completely wiped. But it only lasted one day. So, and then I, got back up the next day and I was like, and now I'm fine. So it just unfolds naturally. Now, if you're not experiencing any windows, take heart. That does not mean that you are not healing. You are still healing. It will come. And for some people, it just lifts suddenly. They're not experiencing so much the wave and window. So this is not like the only way that it happens. This is just what we typically see is the wave window pattern. But it can be a nonlinear process. And And sometimes you get hit with a wave that is just so severe after you've been a long time in a window and it feels like you're back at the beginning. But the truth is, you're not at the beginning. It's just running its course. You're not back at the beginning, because every single day that you live through this is a day closer to being totally healed. So every day, wave day or window day, that's another day closer that you are to being your solid, healthy, normal, clear-minded self. So please take hope. Please take heart, and just know that you're still there, even if you can't even find yourself right now and you are like, I am lost in these symptoms. I feel like I am gone. You're not gone. You are suffering right now, but those sufferings will be relieved and you'll see your real self is still there, and you'll see your real self just emerge naturally, beautifully. You'll just naturally be wanting to get up and do things, wanting to connect with people, wanting to get to work, being inspired and enjoying yourself and enjoying food and the outdoors or hobbies. And so all of those things do come back. It's just really hard to go through that process, that waiting period. And I can feel like, how long? How long is this going to last? How long is it going to last? So just hold on to the encouragements through that time. One day at a time, you are getting there, and it's not going to last forever. So if you are looking for more encouragement, please join me in my groups. And I would love to be a part of your healing journey. And just keep tuning into these videos if they're helping you in your recovery, and just know that someday you are just going to move on, and you're not even going to want to listen to videos like these, because you're going to be moving on and living life. So take heart and just know your healing is coming. All right. Talk to you later.